Consequent upon the regular protests for the independence of Nigeria and Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, an Igbo man, coming to the forefront of the pushing for Nigerian independence among the Nigerian nationals. Britain decided to divide Nigeria into three regions, establishing a regional government of Hausa, Igbo, and Yorubas in 1946, and then appointed the Saduna of Sokoto, Ahmadu Bello, as the premier of the northern region. Thus, after the independence in 1960, Ahmadu Bello saw this as an opportunity to continue the assignment given by his forefather Usman Dan Fodio in 1804. Thus, in 1962, Ahmadu Bello established a campaign known as Jama'atu Nashri, the Society for the Victory of Islam. Thus, from 1962, insecurity reignited in Nigeria after that of 1804 by Usman Dan Fodio. Ahmadu Bello carried out a campaign in two provinces in the north which converted over 100,000 people to Islam, thereby leading scores known as infidel death, including some Igbo victims. This insecurity and killings, which they were unable to stop, was what led Nzogu and some Yorubas to organize themselves and move as to stop him, which led to what was later known as the Nigerian coup of 1966, where the premier and Saduna of Sokoto and other northerners were killed. Secondly, the marginalization of the census enumeration of 1962. This, which most people faulted, like the Yorubas and the Igbos, was used to determine the winner of the 1963 democracy election or republic election of Nigeria, which made Alhaji Tafawa Balewa the Prime Minister of Nigeria, thereby leaving Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe the ceremonial president of Nigeria. Thirdly, the removal of regional government, which came as jealousy of the North over the Igbos. After the Harvard Review stipulated that the Eastern region had the fastest growing economy in the world, surpassing China, Singapore, Dubai, and other nations of the earth. Fourthly, the inability of Nigerian government to pay heed to military order. When Ahmadu Bello was killed and Tafawa Balewa was removed as the Prime Minister of Nigeria, which brought about Aguiyi becoming the first military governor of Nigeria, who was killed on counter coup, where Gowon now became the military governor. Ojukwu was unhappy with Gowon, being that there is someone who, according to military rule, was supposed to be the military head rather than Gowon. All these and other factors contributed to what was known as civil war. This dispute led to a meeting that was converged at Aburi in Ghana, and an agreement was made in that place, which is known as Aburi Accord. And the federal government of Nigeria, on coming back to Nigeria, refused to follow this Aburi Accord, believing the agreement on the return to regional government will encourage Igbo dominance over Nigeria, seeing the Harvard Review and later Tamuno of 1970 That was exactly after the war that between 1946 and 1964, a decade of the regional government, that eastern region of Nigeria had the fastest growing regional economy, surpassing Singapore, China, and emerging Arab Emirates. Other news agencies and newspapers also confirmed this. Are Tamuno of 1970 and Forest of 1981. Thus, seeing this, the federal government of Nigeria has saw the Igbos or eastern region as the part that would dominate other regions of Nigeria. Thus, that will suppress the other regions if regional government is being returned. Thus, by the time they return to Nigeria, they refuse to implement this. When Ojukwu saw that the agreement that was officially signed by the federal government about regional governments was not followed, Ojukwu also saw that the fate of the Igbos was at risk following the Islamic tension and crisis killings that were already on in the northern part of Nigeria. Ojukwu saw the only option to this calamity as separating the region, the eastern region, which he did, and called it Biafra. Ojukwu risked his life, risked his father's wealth, and everything about him to fight to defend the economy of eastern region and the lives of the Easterners. At the end of the war, some anti-Igbo laws were made, and the friends and neighbors of the Igbos, like the Yorubas, who had for time immemorial had been influenced by the Igbos and had been friends and relations of Igbos, started viewing Igbo people as enemies because of that war. You can imagine if the Igbos were allowed, or if the eastern region were allowed with regional government, what Nigeria at this time would have been. You can write your comment on this and send it to our comment section.